Well, hello and welcome to the Joint Dota League Season 3. A little bit of issue with that intro video, but either way, hopefully that won't affect
10 seconds to
anything of
go.
importance. I guess you should know that this is HeflaTV and that I am Grandis V, and I will be your caster for today for the second game of the best of two between MafiaV and Los Bricarditos. Um, so, I guess that's pretty much the intro video in a nutshell.
Radiant's back.
Yeah, game one, we saw that it was fairly closer than I thought it would be. It went decently long. Los Ricarditos, it was very back and forth up until the very end, where MafiaV, with that fairly surprising Draw Ranger 5th pick, were able to just mow down those towers, and were able to make a very convincing show. We have MafiaV changing up their bans a little bit here up against Los Ricarditos, banning out the Invoker as well as the Brewmaster. 2 heroes we saw last game that we're not going to see this game. Los Bricarditos ban out the Doom as well as the Lycanthrope. No big surprises there. Honestly, if you have first pick, I think leaving the Lycan in the pool is a solid choice as well. But just feeling that they don't want to run the Radiant Lycan and would rather go for this first pick Razor on the side of Los Bricarditos. I don't know. I think that Los Bricarditos have it in them to win a game. But I think if they're
10 seconds to
going
go.
to play a longer game and look for these very back and forth scrimmages, they need to draft accordingly and try to make it to where at that point in the game they could actually defend against the push coming out from MafiaV. But still, I don't think this is going to be an easy 2-game stomp for MafiaV, as we saw last game. A lot of mistakes punished by Los Bricarditos, especially when MafiaV pushed when they probably shouldn't have. But on the same token, Los Bricarditos weren't able to really capitalize on those pushes and ended the game with all of the tier 2s on the side of MafiaV standing. And it looks like that Weaver ban in the first stage coming out was warranted as MafiaV start their game off with a Weaver as well as a Wraith King. I absolutely hate this first pick Weaver. I'm just going to put that out there. I think Weaver as a pick, he really falls off if you have enough lockdown to deal with him and force him to go into a lot of defensive items early. If your Weaver goes Lincoln Sphere BKB, you're either winning game 4v5 or you're losing the game heavily because the Weaver can't really contribute anything with those items in the way of damage. Yeah, he does get the Gemini attack to give him a little bit of a damage boost, but until he gets a Desolator or an MKB online, he just doesn't feel very scary. I don't know, with certain combos, he can be a good choice, but Los Bricarditos are going to go ahead and pick up the Centaur Warrener. Now, Centaur Warrener here is decent, offers them a stun against Weaver, a good way to initiate into MafiaV, as well as a tanky frontliner. I think he's an all-around good pick, especially on the Radiant side, where your laning is a little bit more forgiving for the off lane. Well, the next couple of bans, we have Tinker as well as Treant Protector banned out. So both teams kind of scared against the turtling power of the enemy team, possibly expecting it to go a little bit later. Treant Protector, I don't know, a hero that I wouldn't have hated, wouldn't have liked, particularly on MafiaV, where you give them the living armor for the Weaver early on. You can play very aggressive with that, and if you got like an Ancient Apparition as well as another support, the Weaver could potentially get some extra kills. But I'm assuming that's a support Wraith King, so we're probably not going to be seeing that. I don't know, with the Weaver and Wraith King, they have the potential to go for a level 1 Roshan on the side of MafiaV. But without seeing the next couple of picks, I don't think that's going to be what they're going to do. A little bit too risky for my taste. We have a Venomancer banned out, coming out from Los Bricarditos. Just an annoying laning hero that they don't want to deal with. Also offers some decent push, but we're seeing a lot of heroes that are very high priority, and speaking of which, we're going to have the Faceless Void picked up in the second stage by MafiaV. I'd look for the Skywrath Mage to be picked up by them as well, and I don't know, with these unconventional bans coming out from both teams, a lot of top tier picks are being weaseled through to the second phase, and I think that Los Bricarditos are kind of in a bit of a sticky situation here, because Centaur Warrener can't really jump onto the Chronosphere at all. Razor can't do the same. He might be able to get a link off if Faceless Void catches one of his teammates, but if he catches the Faceless Void himself with that 1,000 movement speed, he can quickly just zip-zap and break that link.
5 seconds.
Yeah. I don't know, it's unlikely that Razor is going to be getting any excellent links, as Faceless Void has the Time Walk to get away, Weaver with Shikuchi. Wraith King's probably your prime link target when you actually get into a 5-on-5 engagement. But yeah, I don't think it's Razor's best game. But then again, Razor's still a solid hero. Yeah, if I'm Los Bricarditos here, I'm kind of hitting myself in the head, because giving away Faceless Void Skywrath Mage combo at this point would be, I don't know, very hard to deal with. And I'm not sure they really want to pick up the Skywrath Mage for themselves, although at this point I think I do it anyway as more of a deny pick up against MafiaV because a Wraith King faces Void Skywrath Mage combo is very scary. Silencer is actually going to be a pickup for Los Bricky, and well, speaking of heroes that have been banned out a lot, we're going to have a Death Prophet picked up by MafiaV. So what started out as a very peculiar lineup is going to turn into a very scary one. Faceless Void, Death Prophet. The Exorcism, when you're holding people in place for that long, can do so much physical damage. And I don't know. I don't think anybody on the side of Los Bricky could really stand up against that. Maybe if they get some armor items online, maybe an Assault Cuirass even for their team.
10 seconds to go.
They might be able to tank it with the Centaur Warner, but Razor and Silence are not the best at dealing with Exorcism. If they get caught out in a Chronosphere, it's going to be fairly easy to bring them down.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I had no idea that these heroes would be left this far into the draft, so I guess Death Prophet's the better pick than the Scarlet Mage. I thought Death Prophet was banned, to be honest. But then again, you look at the bans, not even touched. Well, Los Bricky, as previously mentioned, we do have the Scarlet Mage still left in the pool. As far as your first tier heroes are concerned. But I think Silencer and Skywrath Mage, as a supporting duo, really falls flat on its face. But they're going to go for the Skywrath Mage anyway, so I'm assuming that's going to be a farming Silencer. Which definitely can work out against MafiaV, but they don't have a lot of counter push. Really, all they have is the Plasma Field coming out from the Razor. And their ability to win these teamfights is going to be fairly limited. They have good silences up against the Weaver, which is nice to keep them from getting time-lapse and Shikuchi off.
10 seconds
And
to go.
I don't know, definitely a plus for the Weaver, but I think if Weaver gets himself a Lincoln Sphere, and BKB is going to be immortal, but I think if he just goes Lincoln Sphere damage BKB, he'll be just about as good. As long as he doesn't get completely shut down in lane, I think this Weaver pick's going to be fine for MafiaV, but as I said, I probably would have liked to see Faithless Void, Death Prophet as your first two picks, then go into the Wraith King Weaver later on. Naga Siren, last ban coming out from MafiaV, a hero that could have given MafiaV a little bit of trouble if they didn't lock him down early enough, excuse me. But still, I think they would have been able to push faster than the Naga Siren got the Radiance off, and even if they take it late, MafiaV are going to be looking excellently. Scarlet Mage tanking is going to be a supporting duo, a great supporting duo in its own. But currently, MafiaV's lineup looks a little bit more well-rounded and more able to deal with what Los Bricky have. I could be proven wrong. They have plenty of lockdown in order to keep the Weaver at bay, but I think this Faceless Void and Death Prophet are just going to get a little bit too big in order for them to deal with them. Either way, we'll just have to see what's going to go on in this game. Well, we're going to load in shortly as soon as everybody picks up their heroes. And after that, I'll go ahead and introduce the players, and hopefully I'll be able to find a better name for, presumably, the Faceless Void this game. Potentially the Weaver, whoever played the Drow Ranger last game. What's it?
5 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like we might have some AFK players, as it's taking quite a long time to load into it. Yeah, I'd assume we're going to have a pause coming up from MafiaV, but either way, I'll go ahead and introduce our Radiant team. We're going to have Los Bricky with Nate17 playing on the Centaur Warrior, Pretentious playing on the Sand King. Scarlet Mage will be taken up by Derp W, which will leave Link on the Silencer, and the Razor, last but not least, on the Radiant side, played by Citrix. And on the Dire, everybody has picked up their heroes with JXCVB on the Wraith King, Rhino Chuan on the Faceless Void, Stand-In System on the Weaver with Wasta Ditwaf on the Death Prophet, and Charlie Griggs playing on the Ancient Apparition. Yeah, Ancient Apparition was a hero I didn't really talk about all that much in the draft, but combos well with the Faceless Void. It's pretty much like shooting fish in a barrel with an Ancient Apparition ultimate straight into the Chronosphere. Very easy to combo that one up. So no huge aggressive movements coming out from either teams. Nate17 just going to be placing his ward as early as possible, but with MafiaV not there to defend against this, as well as not having the best level 1 engage into the Centaur Warrior, you will be able to place that without it being spotted. Don't think this blocks a large camp, although it might. I think blocking the large camp on your off lane is to your detriment on the Radiant side especially, but I think this ward is going to be A-okay, and just give him vision over the support rotations. Generally, I like to see the ward placed around here to give a little bit more river vision as well, but he will see exactly when they're pulling and when the creeps are moving in that vicinity as well. So, a solid pickup nonetheless. Yeah, Ancient Apparition as well as Wraith King making their move towards the middle lane. This Razor might be giving up first blood here, depending on how things go down. They'll just drop a ward and casually walk back. JXCVB as well as Charlie Griggs going to make their way towards top lane, and Weaver should have a wonderful time up against this Centaur Warner. I don't think there's really a lot that the Centaur can do to put pressure on the Weaver, especially pre-level 6, but even then, I don't think they're getting a kill without rotating the Skywrath Mage and or the Sand King up to kill system. And even rotating them is very scary. Wraith King and Ancient Apparition make it very hard to deal with. AA with Weaver, a very good combo. Chilling Touch with the Gemini tech is very scary, but down in bottom, Faceless Void's going to give up first blood, or will he? He gets the backtrack. One more odd tech from Skywrath Mage is going to be enough. Just playing too aggressively, went for backtrack level 1 instead of time lapse, or excuse me, time walk, and I think that's a build mistake, to be honest. I think as an offlane Faceless Void, you need that time walk in order to get out of situations like that. He salved up, he got a very lucky backtrack on one of those auto attacks, but in the end, just not fast enough to get away. I think if you go for backtrack first, you have to get boots as well. Yeah, I think it kind of paid off that build, and it kind of didn't in the end. Good first blood for these two sports, and Los Bricarditas are going to go ahead and smoke up towards the middle lane. Do they have Concussive Shot available? They do. After getting that kill, they will be sitting at level 2, and Death Prophet looking to be in a world of hurt. Let's see where the Sand King is going to rotate. We have Derp W coming from the low ground, and Sand King might be looking for the grand wraparound. But I don't know, with this Death Prophet playing up so aggressively, I think this is going to be a fairly easy kill, and Centaur might even be giving a little bit of help. They slow him down with the Concussive Shot. The Magic Burst is going to be too much. They follow up with the Burrow Strike. Courier is in the bits. Skywrath Mage looks for an auto attack, not going to be able to find it. The Courier actually, kind of sitting around there. Usually you see them back it off here and drop the bottle off if they are going to do so. I'd assume that Death Prophet's just kind of watching the Courier and will just TP back to the tower. Or will he? Death Prophet, they didn't buy a TP for him, and he's going to be making the walk of shame after giving up a kill in the middle lane all the way to mid to meet Citrix, who's going to be quite a lot of experience ahead, sitting a full level after this creep wave. And disconnect from the Ancient Apparition and Faceless Void did end up bottoming a lot of harass. But now that he has the Time Walk available and was able to use that, he will be just fine. 80 Concussive Shot for his trouble, but Sand King wasn't there to follow up with the Burrow Strike. And that's what I'd assume would be the first kill, but I don't know, Reinishwan giving up a fairly costly first blood down in the bottom. Yeah, I don't know, things are looking pretty good for Los Bricarditas. Really the only lane that's looking up for MafiaV is this top lane with system playing on the Weaver up against the Centaur Warner. No real risk of him giving up much. Well, G's are going to come out as the pause subsides, and these supports just going to make their way to help defend the Weaver after failing the rotations, which is very unfortunate for Los Bricarditas, and Faceless Void in this offlane just isn't having the best of time. Without mana and without any more regen to spend, he's going to be forced all the way back to base. But still, your offlaner being forced off of lane isn't the worst, and Centaur Warner is also lagging behind in experience, although haven't given any kills away, mostly just due to his fact of his sitting on the 2-minute rune, excuse me, and I don't know, just overall not trying to bother this Weaver. He is giving a lot of farm to the Weaver, but still, Los Bricarditas making a decent trade across the map with Silencer also getting similar amounts of farm, and it looks like the early Aghanim Scepter Refresher Rush is going to be the choice for Silencer, since he is going for Curse of the Silent as one of his first maxes. Ancient Apparition and Wraith King smoked up in mid, although no ward vision is going to spot them even if the smoke was popped. So this is a potential kill on the Razor, which would be very important for them to get. As of now, Razor does not have any points into the unstable current. He's going to eat a nuke from the Death Prophet and is probably just going to play very defensively on the backlines while he bottles up and gets a little bit of extra regen. I think before nighttime, Wraith King and Ancient Apparition really don't have the tools to get in range just yet, especially without even the little bit of slow coming out from Icy Vortex. Faceless Void down the bottom. He's going to eat a lot of damage. Last couple of attacks should be enough, and no backtrack Lord coming up from the Faceless Void, and he's going to give up a second kill in the bottom lane. And this Silencer is going to start stealing some pretty serious intelligence. It's actually interesting that he hasn't gotten any. I thought that was a passive part of the hero up until now. I'd assumed that he's stolen 4. And Faceless Void definitely died within 900 AoE. We'll have to see once he levels up Glaive of Ballism. Maybe it'll show it. But either way, I'll keep an eye on that. As in the river, we might have an engagement as Razor gets Wraithfire blasted up by XCVB, but I don't think they're going to be able to have enough damage for this kill. Chilling Touch is nice and all, but without the Death Prophet there, even with the nuke coming out from the low ground, Razor will be just fine. We'll be forced back to base, at the very least, which is a small win for MafiaV, but with the amount of time that these supports committed to that kill, I'd say it's definitely not worth it with Sand King being able to start stacking up in the jungle. Skywrath Mage going to be able to pick up some experience down in bottom lane. I think they would have been better off doing the same. Up in top, Centaur Warner is going to be stunned up with a cold feet proc on him, and indeed it will. And with the chilling touch as well as the Gemini attacks, it should be enough. And worst case scenario, we dive in with the Weaver. Weaver's going to be stunned under a tower, and 817 might be able to get away. Zakuchi cooldown is not low enough to pursue that kill, and he'll be just fine. Ancient Apparition dies to the tower. What a beautiful play coming out from the Centaur. Perfect war stomp coming out from him, and going to be able to make good use of that. Actually sitting around in lane with the Tranquil Boots, a little bit risky, but with the creeps giving vision of system, nothing happening on the Centaur. He won't be able to pull the creep aggro off of the tower just yet, as he wants that Tranquil Boot regen as much as possible. But still, Los Bricarditos looking to make this 1-for-1 this early game, going out magnificently for them. And Sand King, the starts in the jungle with the level 2 Sandstorm being online, as well as 2 camps have been stacked for him. Actually, he doesn't get that Centaur Conqueror. A little bit of a mistake, I feel. I think you just stay there until he dies. But at the same time, he'll be able to get a lot more farm over here by stacking this one first. And yeah, Skywrath Mage isn't there to stack the medium camp, unfortunately, but still going to have plenty of farm towards that Blink Dagger after completing a triple stack here. And we're going to see a very fast one coming up from the Sand King, presumably at about 9 minutes or so. Yeah, Silencer slowly making his way ahead, 2 assists as well as 35 CS on him, and just having a magnificent start. Faceless Void can't do nothing against Blink here on the Silencer. Centaur going to eat a little bit of Frass up in top, but still with those Tranquil Boots doesn't really care all that much. Okay, Derp W does have the invisibility rune picked up. We'll see if he's going to be able to make any good rotations off of this, but Los Bricarditos are making their way towards a fairly scary mid-game presence. If they get that Aghanim Scepter and Refresher up at a good time on the Silencer, which at his current pace he should be able to have, I don't know, they're in for a scary time coming out from MafiaV, because that Faceless Void, if the Global's timed right, you won't be able to get the Chronosphere off. Weaver's not going to have enough items to really do the damage. He is farming decently well up in top, especially now that he picks up the Hand of Midas at about 7 minutes. So, playing for the late game, this Weaver's not going to have the greatest, but in the mid, they're going to silence up with the Plasma Field. Nuke damage should be enough. Sand King not able to get in range, neither is the Centaur. All they need is a little bit more, and Derp W is glad to provide that with the Arcane Bolt that was just slowly floating after him. Can't escape from that one, no way to disjoint it. So, that Prophet is going to give up yet another kill in the mid lane, so bottom and mid are just pretty much absolute disasters. 0 and 2 on both of them. And yeah, I don't know, Death Prophet's getting some decent farm out of this lane. Faceless Void is not, however. And, well, yeah, just being completely zoned out by the Silencer. Silencer is working towards that Aghanim Scepter rush, has the point booster as well as the Ogre Club online for the extra tank ability. And we'll be looking good there. Fortifies coming out from both sides almost simultaneously. One for mid, one for top, I believe. Centaur not the best hero at drawing creep aggro off, so this tier 1 tower is going to fall sooner rather than later. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to make good use of that, but Silencer gets killed in the Faceless Void from the tick damage, I believe, with a little help from the Sand King. So in the end, he did get points for that one because he got the kill, but I guess he just wasn't in range for the first 2 kills. Unfortunately for the Silencer, that extra 4 mana, especially coming from Faceless Void, could have been huge. Faceless Void, not the greatest mana pool by any means. Well, Centaur continuing to save up for his Blink Dagger, not farming particularly well in the top lane, but as expected, does have a Centaur or a Skywrath Mage rotation to help him. Maybe they'll be able to get a kill here. I doubt it, but if they catch out one of these supports out of position, they might be able to make it happen. Yeah, for now, Skywrath Mage just going to back off. A little bit of wasted time for him, but still not the worst. 800 gold in the Skywrath Mage. I'd presume he's going to pick up some arcane boosts for his team, and I don't know, very good, especially when you have a Sand King that's going to be rushing towards that Blink. He's not going to have it at 9 minutes, as I previously suggested, but he will have it at a decent time. Looks like he still hasn't stacked up that medium camp. Just been focusing entirely on this mid one. Death Prophet going to need a Plasma Field from the Razor, I believe, taking more harass, but for now, lanes are going to be fairly passive and not a whole lot to talk about. Sand King has pretty much been untouched in his jungle. Going to be about the same, 1-0 and 2 on the Sand King. I don't know, they've been making good use of the Skywrath Mage Sand King combo, which I quite like. I think it's a really strong roaming duo with the ability to get the Sand King in range for the Burrow Strike. Even at early levels before Burrow Strike has the best range, you can still do a lot. Ancient Apparition might get caught out here. They'll just throw out an Arcane Bolt. Yeah, Faceless Void. With the absence of the supports, he's been able to pick up a little bit of CS at about the same as the Centaur, but still he's given up 2 kills and has been zoned out very many times. He does have his level 6, so I think now is the time that he needs to make something happen, but without the Ancient Apparition level 6 and without Death Prophet having level 11, they don't have the best damage inside the Chronosphere, and there's nothing along the lines of like an Invoker that can drop Sunstrikes in the Chrono to secure yourself some kills, or Queen of Pain with her Scream Pain, or anything like that in the mid lane. That really makes that Chronosphere an instant hit. So, as utility Void is going to be falling a little bit short without that extra infusion of gold. Centaur ultimate going to be deployed. They're trying to chase down the Death Prophet in the river. It looks like they'll be able to get her with the double edge. Just a couple more attacks. They don't even need the hoof stomp. Yeah, 7-0. Los Precarditos are looking for a perfect game here in Game 2 of the Best of 2 series. I mean, despite me liking how the draft progressed for MafiaV a little bit better, they've been executing a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure what I was trying to say. Link getting caught up by Chronosphere in bottom lane. The right clicks should be there. I don't know. They get a lucky bash onto him on the retreat. And Link, they get another bash. What is this madness? And now the Link comes out from the Razor. He's getting some decent damage from the Faceless Void, but will be forced back. I'm not sure if they got that second bash, if Silencer would have died, but still going to be buying a couple of items before he actually butts his dust. I think if he salved up there, he might have been able to avoid a little bit more of that damage. I don't know. I don't think he would have gotten out either way with the second bash coming out as well. Wraith King, level 5, almost level 6, but if he levels up his ultimate, he might also lose it instantly, which is terrible for a support Wraith King, and he is going to. They won't go for him, but rather onto the Faceless Void. The nuking damage is just so much with that Ancient Seal onto him, can't get the time walk off. Eventually he will, and backtrack to the Arcane, but will be able to get out alive, but Wraith King, not going to be so lucky. Luckily enough for him, he did not have the man to get the ultimate off. So that cooldown will not be wasted for another 4 minutes. When you get caught out like that, I don't think you want to use it. Honestly, as a level 6 Wraith King, I think you just save the point for your first usage of the ultimate. Up and top, Weaver making a little bit of dive for the Centaur Warner, but not even close. Does get the tier 1 tower, and I guess at this point in the game, it would be a decent time to go ahead and check out our golden experience graphs. Well, no, not going to give me the time as we have Burrow Strike in the mid lane on the Death Prophet with that first usage of the Blink Dagger. No Epicenter mana, however, and it looks like she'll be able to get out just fine. She's healing up with the Ghost, and yeah, that's too bad for Portentous there. Okay, hopefully I'll get a little bit of time to take a look at the graphs. 3,000 gold lead is the one for Los Precarditos. Not as great as it could have been, but they will get the die on the mid tier 1 tower. It's a little bit more economic damage done that way, and the experience is really where they're starting to shine. About 5k with the 8-1 gold, or kill advantage, excuse me. That's where they're going to really be shining. Razor has the mechanism, and I'd look to see them start 5-manning, especially as soon as they get the Aghanim Scepter on the Silencer. With maxed out Curse of Silence, as well as that Aghanim Scepter up so early, this Wraith King is probably not going to be able to get his ultimate off ever. I don't know, just one Curse of Silence in the ultimate, that's all of his mana, let alone him stunning ones. And, I don't know, Faceless Void also going to have some problems with getting off the Chronosphere. If they get off a Curse of Silence and then the Global, or Global then Curse of the Silence, rather, he's not going to have mana for Time Walk Chronosphere, and much less for Chronosphere. And I don't know, just getting so early is amazing. While Epicenter channel up top with Centaur ultimate deployed, global as well. Don't have the Aghanim Scepter just yet, but this is going to be an easy 2 kills. Double edge on the Ancient Apparition. Weaver never stood a chance, and yeah, with a Hand of Midas, Ring of Health, yeah, nothing helping you there. Jump in from the Faceless Void, drops the Chronosphere onto the Silencer. Without the Global, he might be able to survive. He needs a lot of lucky dashes. Cryptstorm coming out as well as the Silence. Should he be able to walk away with 350 move speed, he might be able to make it out. Where are the TPs to help out this Silencer? I'd like to see them coming. Centaur's a little bit too late, and a bash coming out onto Link. I think they could have reacted a lot faster. Stomp going to be off the mark from 817 is going to be forced to back off. Death Prophet taking a lot of damage, and with level 1 Exorcism only, it's not doing enough really to get them any of these kills. Cryptstorm comes out, and I think that's going to be the end of it. Razor, they're going time walk forward, looking for the bash. He drops for a Link on the Faceless Void, but I think that just cost him his life. They get a stomp on the Death Prophet, which will save the Razor. Very low, however. And at 7 is going to be dropped by the Scarlet Mage ulti, and, Scarlet Mage, a nice ulti onto the Faceless Void. Not going to backtrack the Arcane Bolt this time, buddy, and, well, he's going to be dropped low, but no kills going the way of Los Precarditos. After the Death Prophet, I don't know, losing a Silencer consecutively is definitely not a good thing. He does have the Aghanim Scepter completed, however, they're going to blink onto the Wraith King. He's going to be caught out high and dry. Wraith King, no mana for the ultimate. I think that's, again, beneficial for him, but they're not going to be able to commit for that kill as Derp W did not have enough mana. I think Centaur Warner was itching to go in for that, had the Blink Dagger available, but without the backup from his team, probably shouldn't have gone for that, and ended up just backing off. Well, smoke coming out from Los Precarditos, not going to give me a time to speak here, just making good use of this aggressive combo that they have. Don't have Arcane Boost just yet on the Sand King, but I'd assume he'll pick those up next. But DerpW not going to be offering very much at all to this gank onto the Weaver, but Weaver is just taking too much damage and chain stun. They overlap those stuns a little bit, but he just doesn't have enough HP to stand up to the nuking power coming up from Centaur as well as the Sand King. Those double blinks, I don't know, pretty much paying for themselves, and the amount of gold that they put this Weaver behind. He's still decently high as far as net worth is concerned, but as I said earlier, his items just can't do anything. Like, that 5k net worth means nothing. Pretty much the only hero that has anything that means even a little bit is this Death Prophet, and she has Phase Boots and Bracer. Like, that's not going to do anything for you. She doesn't have level 11 yet, pretty much as expected, but still, I don't know, this game is looking really low for MafiaV. I'm not sure they're going to be able to come back for this, but we'll have to see. Nothing definitive has been set just yet. I think Los Bricarditos are going to need a little bit of throws here to get MafiaV back into this game. Death Prophet thinking about the exorcism, but not going to end up popping it just yet. I think they'll be able to get this tier 1 tower without it, slowly but surely, but it's going to be scary with the Silencer and Sand King getting a position, as well as TP support to tier 1. Death Prophet just needs to back off, and indeed she will. Yeah, I don't know, Weaver.
The Dire might want him.
Yeah, I think my fears of this Weaver pick are going to come true. He's just not going to come online fast enough. I think this game might end before he gets a damage item. With the way this is going, they drop Chilling Touch on their heroes.
You know the drill.
But not going to jump in yet. Just posturing as Wraith King. I think they got vision of him as he pulled the creep aggro over towards that small camp. They jump into the center onto the Ancient Apparition. He's going to die before he gets anything off. No ultimate this fight. Nate 17 is going to lose his life, or will he? He gets the center ultimate off after silence. Now the epicenter drops onto 2. The Face of Void can't get out of there. Now the Death Prophet is also going to die. The Weaver is not here in all of this, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. He's trying to rotate down towards bottom, but I think he would have just fed away his life. He might be able to pick off the Centaur if he's lucky, but Centaur's already back to base. Just TP straight out of there. And Weaver, instead of farming up with that time, is going to get absolutely nothing, and Sand King might actually bump into him. I don't know. Do they have ward vision around? He's going to pick up double damage, so I don't think he'll pursue. I don't know. Yep.
The Dire best do something about that.
Tier 1 tower down in bottom, and this is a completely different Los Bricarditos than we saw last game. I don't know, when they get the early game that they wanted, they were able to combo their spells together well, and they're just putting their draft to good use. I don't know, now that I think about it again, I think that Los Bricarditos had the better draft to begin with. But yeah, I don't know, I was kind of expecting these fights to go a little bit more back and forth, but with the laning stage that the Faceless Void and Death Prophet had, they just weren't able to put that combo to good use. And yeah, with the Death Prophet, they can convert teamfight wins into tower pushes, but at 17-2, they just, I don't know, don't have the skills to pay the bills, so to say.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Yeah, and Link, Power Tread's online. He's stolen 6 intelligence. Unfortunately, those first 2 kills on the Faceless Void didn't count. I'm still kind of a little bit bummed for that. He would have had 10 already, which is a free Staff of Wizardry, which means quite a lot on a Silencer. But he's going to start hitting very hard if they get a couple more kills like they have been. Centaur is thinking about going up top. I don't think he could get that kill without backup, but he might prove me wrong. He'd definitely have to commit the Centaur ultimate for it. But they're rotating in the Star with Mage as well as the Sand King. And this buddy, pair of DerpW as well as Pretentious, is completely paid off. And now Blink Hoof Stomp onto the Death Prophet. Follow up Blink Burrow Strike comes out from the Sand King, and they're going to be able to burst him down so easily. There's a swarm coming out from the Weaver, lands on the Centaur, but yeah. That's all she wrote. And this Death Prophet just can't find anywhere on the map. Yeah, the item progression is completely stagnant on the side of MafiaV. They have the Midas on the Weaver, but that's the biggest item that they have. Now they're going to go for a little bit more of an engage. They try to find the Weaver, don't get the secondary Hoof Stomp, however, and Weaver will be able to scurry his way out of there. But yeah, I keep on coming back to this, but this Weaver just isn't able to do anything, even if he does survive. Tier 1 tower up in the top lane is going to fall. It looks like the creep wave is going to push down mid, but Silencer is just going to be all too happy to farm that one up, excuse me. And the map control is going to start falling for MafiaV, although they have the best pushing lineup, especially, yeah, pretty much all it is at this moment is right-clicking. But once they get the Aghanim Scepter, that's going to change for the Razor. But either way, so with the amount of kills that they have, they're making up for that fact. I think MafiaV need to try to avoid fights as best they can and get this Weaver something. He needs a Lincoln Sphere, and he needs a Desolator. He needs a lot of items in order to be relevant. And well, even with the Lincoln Sphere and Desolator, he's still fairly easily taken down as long as they pop the Lincolns first. Oh, they're going to jump on the Death Prophet, and these double blinks are just paying out so well. They commit the Silencer ultimate as well, and the Ancient Apparition is going to fall pretty much just to the Silencer. I think he had a little bit of backup coming out from the Centaur ultimate damage. But anyway, killing spree for the Silencer, as well as another kill being fed his way. And yeah, I'm glad that they kept that to him with the global presence coming up from the ultimate, committing that one, and then getting that extra intelligence for the Silencer is definitely wonderful. First Oblivion Staff towards that Refresher, or rather, Oblivion Staff towards that Refresher. Going to be picked up by Lincoln. I don't think Los Bricardias are going to stop in a complete turnaround from last game. This one's going to be done pretty early, and now faces Floyd juking through the trees. Will they catch fish? He don't get the concussive shot, but Sky Mage ulti going to land. He drops the Chronosphere and tries to run away. He needs a TP out of there. He doesn't have one. And Rhino Chuan, he's trying to get out of there. He doesn't have mana for the time walking. He's going to be blink pursued, double edge secure. That Arcane Bolt will hit his corpse on the ground, but in the end, MafiaV can't catch a break. I think that's pretty much summing up this game. Looks like those who bet 1 for 1 are going to be pleasantly surprised, as Los Bricardias are going to be able to take a game, it seems. I don't know, it's hard to think of ways that they're going to be able to come back, even though Los Bricardias aren't taking towers because they can't really get towers without getting a vast amount of kills. They're going to get another one, the Ancient Apparition, just absolutely blown up. Exorcism pops, silence onto 2, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and now the Centaur joins the fray. Double edge onto the Death Prophet. They just don't have a way to deal with these blinks, and now they're going to fall. They get a stun onto the Centaur Warner, but what is it going to matter? Wraith King looks like he's going to lose his ultimate, still only level 1. Will they pursue this further? They have a blink coming off of cooldown, and there's the double edge to get the ultimate, and they could get the second kill. I don't think they will commit for this, however. They'll stun on May 17. Now the epicenter is going to be committed. I am standing corrected as JXCV drops to the double edge and one more auto attack from the Sand King. Looks like Portentous is going to lose his, or Portentous is going to lose his life, but never mind. They get vision with the Weaver Bugs, canceling his blink tag. Does have a mana TP, but it looks like he's going to survive. I don't know, Ancient Apparition Blast was already committed, so not going to be able to snipe him out. Yeah, pipe online for the Centaur. Yeah, it's just looking worse and worse. Ancient Apparition silenced up. Just 2 nukes coming up from Skywrath is too much damage, and Skywrath Mage ulti completely whiffs. It doesn't matter. Plasma Field's there from the Razor. Double silence comes out from the Death Prophet. They looks like they'll get the Skywrath Mage at the very least. Now Razor might have bit off a little bit more than he He tries to TP out. Bash comes out from the Faceless Void. Well, I think they had plenty of uptime for that Bash to be reliable, but I don't know. Unfortunate. So they doubled their kills in that last engagement. Always look on the bright side of life, I believe, but Veil on the Sand King. This is absolutely scary. Like, with a Veil Epicenter, I think that's an entire team wipe. Then you have Sky the Mage ulti with the Centaur on top of that. Yeah. It's not looking pretty at all. Weaver has changed gears, or yeah, from that Ring of Health, he's going to go into BKB, but I don't think that BKB is going to do anything. We'll give him a little bit extra damage with that 24 coming out from the Mithril Hammer. But, yeah. I don't think that Weaver first pick is a thing. I really don't. I mean, it was given a lot of respect in this draft, and, well, there goes a kill in the Ancient Apparition. Didn't even see that one happening. Just dies too fast. Blink, blink, dead.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I'd like to see Los Bricarditos convert these into pushes a little bit better and maybe have more heroes around, but all they need is a Centaur and Sand King. They're just running rampant over this map, and if they ever do decide they need it, Silencer has his ultimate available and almost has the double ulti. He'll probably have that after 1 or 2 more fights. Just so scary. I don't know. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane is going to be taken as Razor defends against the bottom push coming out from the creeps. But for now, I think MafiaV need to hope for a miracle. They need a 5-man Chronosphere with the Ancient Apparition ultimate on top with Exorcism taking down 2 heroes inside the Chronosphere. Then they need to focus them down with the Wraith King Suns afterwards. But even then, like, it's doubtful that they'll be able to get too many kills. And now, next tier 2 tower is going to fall towards Los Bricarditos. They've had enough of farming up these kills and are just going to go systematically about these towers. Yeah, as much as I hate anti-hyping a game, this one, I'm not sure where Los Bricarditos came from, but they do have a BKB on the Weaver, so maybe there's a little bit of hope left. He'll be able to survive, but Death Prophet, yeah, I wasn't even looking there, like, I'm not sure why she came in. I thought they were just going to give it this tier 2 tower. Aghanim Scepter picked up by the Razor, and I think they can just go high ground. They might back off for Roshan, but I don't think they need it. I mean, with the lead that they have, I'm hesitant to look at the graphs, and yeah, you just look at it. That's pretty scary. They pop the pipe, and now they can go. Weaver showing his face, but he needs to be careful. He just takes too much damage. Doesn't pop the BKB. They drop the glyph, but that's only going to delay the inevitable. It will at least get the pipe out of the way. They drop the mechanism for the extra armor on the creeps. Tier 3 tower not taking a lot of damage as Eye of the Storm is focused down the creeps. First, they jump in. They're looking for the corner. He gets silenced with the global, and now Rhinotron, he's not being focused down fast enough. There's the Scar with Mage ulti. It's going to be plenty. Veil dropped on him with the epicenter. They get 3 kills almost instantly. The Weaver is somewhere. BKB pop, but he just does no damage. He gets the time lapse off. All they need is a little bit more. Plasma Field not going to land on the Weaver. They drop the Dusk. Will they get fished of him? I don't think they care. Tier 3 tower is going to fall. They have Exorcism going on the back lines, but Death Prophet, those blinks are going to kill her, and the blink, Bro Strike, blink, hoof stomp, double edge, and I kind of sound like a broken record, but that's kind of how this game has been going. Blink, hoof stomp, blink, double edge, dead heroes. That's pretty much it. Yep. Bottom Rax is going to be down. I wouldn't be surprised to see a GG call coming out from MafiaV. I think this is pretty much it. There's very few teams that can come back from Rax down at 25 minutes, and I don't think that MafiaV is any exception. Yeah, a refresher orb coming out from the silencer. No pressure on Los Bricarditos. I don't think there's really anything that they have to do differently. I mean, even though the Weaver has more net worth than the Sand King, you can take 2k of that away from the Midas. It gives him a little bit of attack speed, but that does nothing. The BKB's useless when it's on cooldown. Even when it's up, he does no damage. So I think none of these heroes on MafiaV really have an impact. Death Prophet is their biggest hope, but she has Phase Drums and Staff of Wizardry while we're counting. And I mean, the Skywrath Mage already has Arcanes and Yules. He has plenty of things to deal with. Enemy team, I don't know. And down mid they go. They don't need Roshan. They can just go systematically for the next Rax. Just kind of waiting for that GG call at the moment. Faceless Void in mid. I think they're just hoping for that perfect combo yet again. I like that MafiaV are taking this game seriously, but I think at this point it's just going to be a little bit, yeah, too much for them to do. Yep, well, Silencer, another 1,700 gold on top of that, and I don't know. I don't think it needs anything else. At 27 minutes in about, I think that's pretty much the best you can hope for. Yeah, top of the net worth chart, Silencer's a happy man. He has 22 stolen intelligence, pretty much 1 for every minute, and that's absolutely perfect. His orb attacks are going to be hitting hard. And last tier 2 tower of the game is going to fall in favor of Los Bricarditos, or at least on the side of MafiaV, I should say, as the tier 2 towers on Los Bricarditos are looking fine. Yep, and I think the push is not going to stop here. Not a chance. Ancient Apparition is hanging around with the Wraith King, but I think they just need to back off. The range of initiation is too much. Pipe popped, and ultimate. They get the hoof stomp on the AA, and Centaur just solos him. They get the concussive shot to secure that kill. The global silence comes out. BKB forced out by the Weaver. He at least gets the silence off so he can Chikuchi down and try to make something happen. But they have the second global already, just ensuring that they get enough damage on the other heroes, and there's just too much coming out towards them. Death Prophet's going to fall. Weaver falls. BKB from the Faceless Void, but what does it matter? He's dying to the Razor. Pretty much solo. Derp W is not even going to die. Skywrath Mage is still alive. Yules is himself up in the air, still hangs onto the gem. Might pass that to an ally, but I don't think it matters. Tier 3 towers are down, and Weaver has buyback, but I don't think he's going to spend it. I think for all intents and purposes, this is GG, called out by MafiaV, with the Weaver not buying back.
The Dire's top brass is all the pieces.
Yeah, they're all sitting in the base as well. Charlie Griggs and JXCVB can't do anything. If they had a Blink Dagger on the Wraith King, maybe they'd be able to snipe out the Skywrath Mage. I'm hoping for an ultimate coming out from AA. Maybe to catch Derp W, but I don't think he'd die, especially with the pipe on this team. And third lane of Rax look like it's going to fall. I think they could probably just tank it through. He also some stuff up in the air to make sure that he doesn't die to one AA blast, but GG called out by Charlie Griggs in a very anticlimactic ending to this game. But in the end, very well played by Los Bricarditos, making this series 1-1. It is a best of 2 series, so that is all we're going to have from these two teams, at least for now. I believe we're not going to have another game coming up for quite some time. Let me check the schedule. At least on HeflaTV 2, the next game is going to be actually pretty soon. It looks like Next Please versus MIT is actually going on. I was hoping to be able to cast that. I might be able to jump onto game 2, so let's see. Yeah, I think I'll jump onto game 2 of Next Please versus MIT very shortly. Hopefully I won't miss that one, but if I do, that will be the last one until 30 CEST the next day. for American Division 2 TC versus NSC. So thank you for watching. I've been Granite Sphere, your caster throughout these games today, and, well, yeah, this has been HeflaTV. You can find us on our social media websites at HeflaTV, usually. But if you want to watch the VODs of this games, particularly the first game, I thought was fairly good coming out from both of these teams. A lot of back and forth team fights that you might want to watch again. You can find those at youtube.com/HeflaMoke. So thank you for watching. We might have more games, but at the same time, this might all be over. So check back if you do want to watch that. And if I don't have the game, I will just redirect you straight over to HeflaTV 1, as they do have some games going on there. So there will be Dota action as long as you stick around. So thank you for watching. I'll go ahead and wrap out the stream with some music and some ads. It's a great way to support us if you do sit through those. Disable your ad block if you have it on. It would mean a lot. You can also follow us and subscribe if you do feel so inclined. So, for now at least, that will be it, but I could be back with the next game shortly.